Hey, crew, it's Patrick with the Hot Topic Podcast, and today is Wednesday, May the 20th, and it's time for another question of the day. Let's see what chat has in store for us. Hey, chat, do you have a question of the day for me?
Absolutely. What three pieces of advice would you give to a new or transitioning sales professional who's aiming to get into commercial truck sales?
Okay, three pieces. I'll tell you what, let me break this down into two pieces. I think we can get a lot done with just two pieces here. So, number one, I would say you need to understand and know your natural traits. And number two, I would say don't go into this position looking at yourself as just an employee. You have to look at yourself as you're going to be a small business owner inside of the dealership. So, an entrepreneur, if you will. Okay, let's break down number one. Why is it important that you need to know and understand your natural traits? Okay, so in previous videos, we've already identified the 8 different methods that it takes to sell commercial vehicles. Now, just to break it down, just to recap here, number one, you have retail, internet is number two, number three is going to be fleet, number four is commercial or vocational, however you want to look at that. Number five is going to be wholesale. Number six is going to be government and municipality. Now, those are all generally product driven sales methods. Now, the last two are going to be service driven in that you have lifecycle management or fleet management, as it's commonly referred to. And the other one is outbound prospecting or door knocking or cold calling, however you want to look at it. The reason why you need to know what your natural traits are is once you're able to know your natural traits and you can align those with one or a few of these different methods, your chances of success go up exponentially. Now, let me give you just one example or a couple examples. Let's say you're not very comfortable with creating a relationship from nothing. Okay. So, outbound prospecting or cold calling or door knocking, however you want to look at it, is a method that most people try is the key word here for their customer acquisition. So, simplistically put, you've got a customer that you've identified in the market. You've found their location. You want to go in there, knock on the door, and try to build a relationship and try to get to the business owner, a decision maker. Maybe it's a company big enough to have a fleet administrator. One of those key people you need to try to build a relationship with. I will tell you, of the 8 methods, that is by far the most difficult to succeed at. The tough part is when you go into these businesses, and generally they're small businesses, you're going to be trying to build a relationship from nothing. So, what do you have to offer? Well, generally, you're trying to sell a product or you're trying to sell your services yourself. And let's face it, a lot of people have a hard time selling themselves. So, if I were to ask you a question right now, aside from what your dealership or your sales group has to offer, whatever it is, whether it be a product or a service, if you took that out of your language, would you be able to sell just yourself? A lot of people struggle with that. So, don't feel like you're the only one because a lot of people do. Again, understanding your natural traits will keep you in line with where you're going to find some success, right? So we've already touched on what outbound, cold calling, door knocking sales looks like. If you're not comfortable with going in and building a relationship from nothing, that's probably not going to work for you. Now, transversely, what are you good at? What do you feel like you're naturally aligned with? Are you a retail person? Again, do you have that outgoing personality? You like entertaining customers. You like the interaction. That might be your method of choice. But again, identifying that is going to be key. Maybe you're a very studious type person, meaning you like to read a lot. You like to dig deep into the deep dive of details of things. Well, maybe you might be a really good government or municipality salesperson. That's what it takes is getting these bids, putting together a bid proposal, and then the timeliness of it all, making sure that you hit the timeline of when these bid proposals are due for openings. So maybe that's something that you're more in line to. Either way, find out what your natural traits are and which one or several of the methods that work for you. A lot of these methods have kind of a blend, meaning you could be a retail person, you can be an internet person, you could possibly be a fleet person. Those tend to go hand in hand enough to where you can have a good possibility of trying to succeed in those different methods there. Again, maybe you're a government or municipality type person. or maybe you're really good at selling lifecycle management, or maybe you're really good at knocking on doors. Anyway, what you really need to define is, what are your natural traits? What are you good at? And kind of point your needle in that direction to be able to have a really good chance of success. Number two, of viewing yourself as more than an employee. Okay. You have to consider yourself to be a business owner inside of the dealership. Don't just rely on the dealership's resources to be able to acquire your customer, retain your customer, and everything that it takes in between there. Okay. Now, again, in past videos, we've talked about customer acquisition and customer retention. Again, two different things, but they're necessary to your business model. So, what does customer acquisition entail? Well, obviously, it's going out and trying to gather new customers beyond what the dealership has to offer. It could be prospecting, it could be networking, it could be social media. Okay. Any one of those methods within the method of you being more than an employee to the dealership is going to be crucial to your success. Okay. So that's the second part. Make sure that you consider yourself more than an employee to the dealership. You own the acquisition, you own the retention, you own follow up, whether it be through email, through text, through phone calls. Okay. You have to look at the totality of what it's going to take for you to be successful and understand that you may have to outsource some of those duties. Okay. And that's okay. Clearly, you now with AI, you can outsource a lot of your customer retention. If it's an email drip campaign through your CRM, make sure your messaging is on point, okay, to what you're trying to sell or inform your customer of. And that's another point. In your customer retention, don't always be selling. Okay. It's okay just to educate your customer. It's okay to throw in a note every once in a while. Hey, Mr. Customer. Hey, Mrs. Customer. Did you know Ford, General Motors, Ram, whoever you're representing, did you know this about them? Did you know this deadline is coming up? Did you know whatever it is that you want to share with your customer? What that becomes is now you become their expert, meaning if they have a question about the product that they're using that you've provided for them, they look at you more than just a salesperson, that you've taken the time to be able to explain to them something that's important, something they need to know. And in turn, what that does, it gives you an opportunity to reach out to that customer. It gives them something valuable that they can look at, they can read, they can listen to, whatever the case is. And again, that just helps your credibility in their eyes. Something else you can do. You can do little short videos specifically for your customer. You have no reason to be able to reach out to them. You're not trying to sell them anything. It could just be, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Something that simple. And that carries a lot of weight with your customers, because generally your customer is getting sold all the time, regardless of who the vendor is. They're always going to be trying to sell your customer. So sometimes taking a step back and just offering help, or just offering a nice little note. Send a personalized greeting card. I've met with a lot of people that have very good success with that. Be consistent with it. It doesn't have to be on their birthday. I think a lot of people just kind of expect, or not necessarily expect, but they anticipate seeing that kind of activity around their birthday, an anniversary, whatever the case is. Just be the person that sends a note for no reason. You'd be surprised how much weight that carries in your customer's eyes. So anyway, I hope these 2 points that I've shared with you can help you as you start to go down the path of whether you're transitioning into commercial sales, whether you're new to sales in general. Again, figure out what your natural traits are and trying to find a path that's going to best suit those natural traits. And the second thing is, don't just be an employee, be that entrepreneur inside of the dealership. And I think if you can adopt these 2 simple methods into your language, into your business model, if you will, I think you'll find a lot more success. All right. Hey, guys, look, if you're enjoying the content, give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the channel. I'll keep making the content. You guys keep watching the content, and together we're going to make this industry stronger. All right. Until next time. Okay. Tomorrow, Thursday, May the 21st. Will be the question of the day. And until then, have a good day, guys, and we'll talk to you soon.